My name is Wally Hogue, and I'm 58 years old. I live here in Richmond, Virginia, and I've lived here all my life with the exception of the 4 years that I spent in the Marine Corps. So I am actually a Marine Corps veteran. I'm diagnosed with bipolar type I disorder, which means that not only do I suffer from severe depression, but I also go into extreme mania, which for me includes delusions, hallucinations, and so forth. My mental health recovery or journey started in about 1997. I'm sure it happened earlier because I did suffer some bouts of depression in the 80s, but mostly everything took place after I got out of the military, which was in 1985. But they really didn't discover my diagnosis until about 1997. And so there it started. It started at the VA hospital, and I just all of a sudden I felt myself getting extremely depressed. It started out with depression, and I went through about probably 6 years to 7 years of bouts of depression before the mania ever surfaced. It's been a difficult time for me because they've prescribed so many types of different medication, and I've tried several different cocktails of it, and it took them quite a few years to get the correct formulation of what I need to be taking. It has caused me to gain a lot of weight. I've gained a lot of weight, and I've also got high cholesterol and high blood pressure, but I'm in a well place right now, and I'm out of the hospital. I haven't had a hospital visit since about 2016, and so that's a good thing for me. It was about 1999, the year 2000. I was in a heavy manic episode, and I lived in an apartment complex in the west end of Henrico County, and they had a swimming pool. And I noticed every day I was in this manic episode that people were walking from their apartments going to the pool. And I said, well, wouldn't it be nice if I could give them a ride somehow? So what did I do? I went over to an apartment complex up the street, and they had a golf cart there that they used for their maintenance. And so I saw it one night, and I said, well, that'll be one way to get them back and forth to the pool. So I decided I would take it and do just that. Wasn't trying to steal the golf cart. I just thought I was doing my residents a favor by giving them a ride to and from the pool, which they really appreciated. But Henrico County didn't appreciate that so much, so they sent the police after me, and I went to jail for 6 months. And so now I make sure that I'm always take my meds on time all the time. And this, I will say, happened while I was unmedicated. I would become unmedicated so many different times, probably I could say maybe 8 to 9 times during my life when I was prescribed the medication that I've stopped taking them because of the adverse side effects. And so that's what has happened to me. And it's always because I've come off my meds that I've gotten myself into trouble. And that's just one example of some of the things that have happened while I was in a manic episode. I started out looking for somebody that I could talk to that had gone through different aspects of mania that I had gone through, because I didn't know anybody personally. So I looked for support groups to join, and I found one in Richmond, and I joined that. And then I started having people over at my house to also talk about recovery and what they were going through with their mania and their manic episodes. And so I took that group over. We started coming over to my house, and I met an individual there that described to me what NAMI was like and said, well, I'll give that a try. So I signed up for a peer-to-peer class. And just so happens that Debbie Collins and Pat Vaughn were teaching my peer-to-peer class. And that's how I got really involved with NAMI. And I learned a lot, especially in another manic episode that I was having, which just occurred most recently. Since I've been involved with NAMI, I stopped taking my medicine again. I stopped taking my medicine again because I felt like I was gaining too much weight. So I wanted to get back in shape, and I started exercising, and this put me into more of a manic episode. So for some reason, I thought that my neighbors in my neighborhood were out to get me. I was just thought that they were out to do anything they could to get me. So, for instance, one of my neighbors had pine sap that was, she had a pine tree that sat over my driveway, and the pine sap would fall down on my car. And so I got angry with my neighbors. And so I got up on my roof. Here I am. At the time, I was probably around 53 or 54. And I climbed up on my roof, took a ladder out and climbed up on my roof and started yelling at my neighbors saying, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. It's 3 sets of neighbors. And this scared them. They saw a man up on top of his roof yelling out that he's going to get them. And those weren't the exact words I used, but that's the nicest words I can use now. But so it frightened them enough so that they went to the magistrate's office in Henrico County and they obtained a protective order against me. And what the protective order stated was that I was to have no further contact with my neighbors. I couldn't be quiet. I saw one of my neighbors out in the street. And so I ran out there and said something to him. And the next thing I know, the police are taking me to jail again. And this time I spent 6 months in jail for breaking that protective order. And I was, at the time that I went to jail, I was manic. And then finally, when I was released from jail, I'd already gone into depression. So I was manic in jail and depressed in jail. And that's a rough place to be when you're in either one of those states. I've read many books, and one book that I read was written by Dr. K. Redfield Jameson, and it's called An Unquiet Mind. She wrote in her book that when she was manic, she felt that she was roller skating on the rings of Saturn. And so I could relate to this because I would go so far out there as well. When I'm manic, I really go out there and I become messianic, if you will. I become super religious. And I don't know why, but this seems to be a common theme amongst people that suffer from bipolar disorder. And it hits me like that. My family understands what I'm going through a great deal because I've been able to speak to them about my condition. They didn't always understand it. They still don't understand it completely, but at least now they're willing to listen to hear what I have to say. Carol, my fiance, has been very helpful to me. We've been together for about 17 years now, and she makes sure that I see my doctor when I'm supposed to. I take my medications on my own, but she does like to check to make sure I've taken my meds. And so she's been very helpful. My brother has been very helpful. My sister has been very helpful since I've been going through this. Somebody just starting their journey, I would probably advise them to get involved with NAMI. I would tell them to try to keep or maintain their treatment plan as much as possible without deviating from that. And if they did need to, or if they had any concerns, to see their doctor about any medications they may take.